Yeah, you, come here. Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to another edition of the Book Report, where we talk about the different state and national sports betting number reports. We've got launches. We usually talk about legislation. And we also include an entire segment on deals, and boy, do we have a lot of deals to talk about. It was a very, very, very busy week in deals.
Football season's coming up. They're making the deals.
Well, we also got a bunch of new states launching, so that's also spurring on a lot of these deals, too. Right. But before we get to the deals and some of the legislation, because we got to talk about what New York released, too, let's talk some numbers here. And we're going to talk Indiana real quickly. Indiana sports betting passed the $4 billion mark with the release of their July numbers. They started in September 2019, and in that first year, from September 2019 to July of 2020, that's when they passed their first $1 billion in handle.
Yeah, I know. Indiana's doing amazing.
1 year later, add $3 billion more to that total. They crossed $4 billion in 1 year.
Wow.
So Indiana gamblers love betting on sports. $3 billion handle in just the last 12 months in that state. The $4 billion handle also translates into $300 million lifetime revenue in the state, which is a very good number for a sports betting state. Moving over to Oregon. I know you love Oregon for one reason only, and it's why we're going to talk about it. Do you want to guess what we're going to talk about?
Well, it's either Oregon or Colorado, because they love their table tennis. Did I hit what you were talking about?
They have loved their table tennis since the beginning of this market, and they still do. Table tennis came in sixth again as the top sport in terms of handle.
Now, this is Oregon, right?
This is Oregon.
All right.
$1 million in handle.
Jeez.
Average bet size of $60, and 17,491 bets were placed on table tennis in the month of July.
Wow.
I don't even know what the seasons are for table tennis. I still do not. And it's just...
Well, these are, I'm assuming these table tennis tournaments or competitions are overseas, right? Because I'm not seeing
They're all over the world.
They're all, I mean, but they're not in the U.S.
No.
Are any of these in the U.S.?
I don't know if there's too many table tennis tournaments in the U.S.
There should be, with the way people are betting on table tennis.
I got to look into whether or not there's a U.S. table tennis league that has betting on it.
Yeah.
Talking national-wise, this is kind of interesting. The numbers were released for the halfway point of 2021, since we're 7 months into the year in terms of financial reports here. Over $24.2 billion in handle, $1.75 billion in revenue, and more than $260 million in tax revenue for the legalized sports betting states and District of Columbia. You compare to all this last year. These are the numbers from 2020, halfway point. No, these are actually the numbers for all of 2020.
Okay.
$21.5 billion.
Wow.
Total handle. $1.47 billion total revenue, $240 million total tax.
Okay.
Let's see, the fifth highest of the month, 37 months post-PASPA, and easily clearing the previous 2021 high in terms of hold of 8.23%.
Now, that was June, you said.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That was June.
That was the month of June.
Yes.
That was the 5th highest,
Yep.
right?
National handle for June decreased even,
Okay.
especially with these numbers. The national handle for June was 1.1% compared to May.
All right.
And also one little horse racing note. And
Horse racing.
I saw this note because we were the media sponsors for the Racing and Gaming Conference at Saratoga. The Saratoga meet was going on through the first 20 days of this year's meet. They were averaging a daily handle of $20 million on the races.
Great. It sounds pretty good.
20 days, $20 million
Great.
each day. What is that? That's $400 million, something like that. So they're doing very, very well.
Wow.
In terms of the Saratoga meet.
Well, first off, it's a great place. I mean,
It's beautiful there.
Saratoga is one of the historic racetracks of this country, and I get to it if you haven't gotten there yet because it's amazing to see. And it's great to see they're doing well.
Well, they are doing extremely well. I'm curious to see what the rest of the meets handle looks like average daily because that's just an incredible number if you think about it.
Yep.
Had a couple launches to talk about. Zen Sports received approval from the Nevada Gaming Control Board to operate Lovelock's Big Wheel Casino, which is the casino they're going to be owning. They're going to be running the entire casino. They're also going to be allowed to do a sports book at Baldini Sports Casino in Sparks. Zen Sports is the peer-to-peer betting platform.
Great.
We actually had Mark Thomas on, and he talked about doing these types of deals. And
I was racking my brain to figure out who I spoke to, who I interviewed at Zen Sports. So I'm glad you said that.
Well,
because I know they were on this show. So okay.
Well, they still got to get Nevada Gaming Commission approval for their license, but they have gotten Gaming Control Board approval to operate the casino and that sports book. Mm-hmm. Barstool launched in Colorado. The Barstool Sportsbook, I should say, the online sportsbook, launched in Colorado and Virginia last week.
Okay.
Penn National Gaming opened up their Hollywood Casino York property last week, which featured a retail Barstool book.
Now, is that Barstool's first branded retail
Yes.
sportsbook?
And it won't be the last.
it
According to
looks
Penn
great.
National, they're going to be doing a lot more retail
I saw a lot of
books.
pictures of it. It looks great. I have to find out where York is. I mean, I'm in New Jersey, so is York that far away? Is it?
Yes, it's on the other side of Pennsylvania.
Is it really?
Yes.
Damn. So I'll go find it.
Last but not least, in terms of launches, this is an actual book launch. This is a bet type launch. In Indiana, DraftKings has now launched the same game parlay system. They didn't have that in Indiana. Mm-hmm. They're figuring, given what happened with BetMGM. BetMGM actually launched it earlier than DraftKings has, and BetMGM's position in the market shifted dramatically upwards. They got a better market share when they introduced same-game parlays. So DraftKings is hoping the same thing happens with them. They get a bigger market share in Indiana because of same-game parlays. FanDuel is kicking butt out there with everything in terms of the lead in terms of market share for that state.
By the way, back to the York, Pennsylvania, where that is. That's actually kind of a doable trip because it's about it's near Lancaster. It's before Gettysburg, so that's not bad.
No, it's not. It's not a bad trip.
now
I mean, you got to do the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing on that turnpike once you get past
maybe
the Philadelphia
check out
area.
the Barstool Retail Sportsbook in York, Pennsylvania.
Well, we're going to see more Barstool retail books across the country. So, may see one soon in Jersey. I don't know. We'll see. Let's go over to some legislation.
All right.
And New York is always dominating some of the talk in terms of legislation. They just released the primary applicant and applications for the mobile sports betting.
This made big news everywhere.
I'm actually really impressed with the variety of bids that were placed. Let's just go through the main primary applicants, and then we can talk about this because everyone knows there's a super bid out there. Primary applicants, Bet365, Canby, twice, FanDuel, FoxBet, and the ScoreBet. Now, Bet365, FoxBet, and the ScoreBet do not have any partners in their bid.
Okay.
So they're each throwing in $25 million each to be a platform provider. Mm-hmm. The Canby bids are multi-partner as well as the FanDuel bid. Canby is with Fanatic Sportsbook, which is interesting, the clothing company.
Okay, I was going to say, is that the clothing? brand?
I'm actually curious to see what their sportsbook is going to look like. But they have said they want to do a sportsbook, and they have partnered with Canby for the New York market. The other Canby deal has Caesar Sportsbook, Resorts World, PointsBet, Rush Street, and WynnBet.
Okay.
Now, Rush Street just got the Connecticut lottery deal.
Sure.
Can you imagine Rush Street, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut?
No, they have the Northeast tied up.
Just about. I mean, the only thing they can't get is New Hampshire, unless something changes with that law. But they could be all the way up the East Coast, from Mid-Atlantic all the way up to the top.
Sure.
The other bid by FanDuel, and this is the super bid, and it was kind of interesting when it was released at the beginning. They talked about FanDuel with Ballybet, BetMGM, DraftKings, the Yankees, the Yes Network, the Buffalo Bills.
I saw the Yes Network.
The Seneca Nations.
Like yeah.
So that is a huge
Sabres too. Buffalo Sabres.
Yep. It's a huge consortium in this one application, and it just was released on Friday. That the New York Gaming Division released more information. They released redacted applications, and everyone noticed that there's this one specific part of the application that by FanDuel here. FanDuel, Ballybet, BetMGM, and DraftKings have all applied to be platform providers, which means each one has to kick in $25 million. So that's a $100 million bid.
Wow.
Right there.
That's unbelievable.
So you got 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, and then 100.
But you know what? It's New York. You're going to make that money up. I mean, number one, it's the number one media market in the world, and you're just licensed to print money. If you're mobile in New York City.
Again, a lot of this isn't just the bids themselves.
Yeah.
There's a scoring procedure. You partner with a Native American tribe, you get so many points added onto your bid. If you increase the amount of revenue you're going to share, you get more points added to your bid. There's a whole scoring situation there where, again, it's not just the bid on its face that's going to be deciding who gets what. It's going to be what's going on in terms of how well they score and all this. Somebody can come in with a 75% revenue share and win over any of these. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where everyone falls with all this stuff. Florida, we know that the compact was approved, or a non-approval from the Department of Interior. The compact was published in the Federal Register, so that is now an official gaming compact.
Okay.
That means craps, roulette, and retail sportsbooks at tribal casinos are coming in the fall. The online portion is going to be basically lawsuit heavy. So we don't know when that's going to launch, but everything else as part of that compact is going to happen.
Great.
New Jersey, Governor Murphy signed the fixed odds bill,
which is
into
great.
law.
Which is great.
So it's a 10-year exclusive deal with Monmouth Park and the New Jersey Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association with bet makers. They'll be the official distributor of the fixed odds for horse racing.
I think this is great. I mean, it's great for the horse racing industry. Fixed odds basically means when you place a bet on a horse, you lock in those odds the moment you make that bet. Before, the way it was is pari-mutuel betting, which means you bet on the horse, but the odds will change up until the start of the race.
Right.
So fixed odds, you can really, it is what it says. You fix the odds when you make the bet.
Well, I think that's going to make horse racing a lot more appealing to a larger population of bettors out there. And I think there are sports bettors who avoid horse race betting.
Well, look, I mean, I hope this makes it easier, especially for online betting, because, I haven't placed an online horse bet ever. The only bet I make on horses are at the track. So hopefully this makes it easier for it to transition into the online betting realm.
Especially in states like New Jersey.
Yeah.
Two other little notes regarding legislation. Canada, and we just had Paul Burns on from the Canadian Gaming Association. This was taped before this announcement.
I mean, look, the news happens every day. I mean, sports betting news is incredibly fluid.
Well, the criminal code was amended. That was the last step in the procedure.
Yeah.
Provinces will be allowed to begin offering wagers on single events beginning August 27th.
Okay.
Now, again, all the provinces still have to enact sports betting regulations and rules, so that's a fluid deadline. And California came out of nowhere with another ballot referendum.
I really don't think it's going to happen. But
well, there's one for the tribal associations in California that's going to be on the November ballot.
that might happen before
Yes.
complete government-run sports betting.
The one this one is dealing with the non-Native American tribes. This is for racetracks, card rooms, pro sports teams, and also it does include the tribes, but it's more of an overall industry ballot referendum. I didn't know this because I actually, frankly, never counted 19 pro sports teams in California.
Huh, okay. Yeah, I guess it would be. Yeah, no, they have a lot of baseball teams, a lot of hockey teams.
They've got 5 baseball teams, 3 hockey teams, 4 basketball teams, 3 football teams, 1 WNBA team, 3 Major League Soccer teams.
Oh, okay.
And this one is proposing a 25% tax rate that would generate $500 million annually to the state of California. And that's not including any books associated with the pro teams.
That would be great.
So you're looking at one huge deal if that goes through. Let's talk real quickly about some of these deals that happened over the last week here. Connecticut Lottery appointed Rush Street Interactive as their official sports betting partner. We talked more about this in the Fifth Exit, our little additional feature that we've started up. If you want to hear our full discussion, I'll go ahead and take a listen to it. But one of the things about the Connecticut Lottery doing the deal with Rush Street, it doesn't involve any of the gaming compacts that the Native Americans did with DraftKings and FanDuel for Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun. The one important aspect of those, they still haven't been approved by the Department of Interior yet.
Okay.
So they may not be able to start at the beginning of the NFL season like Connecticut wants the Connecticut Lottery to do. They may have a jump on them because of these compacts.
Look, we keep saying that we don't know if it's going to happen before NFL football. It'd be crazy if they sat on this and didn't let it happen before NFL football started, or even college football. But no, I honestly think this is going to happen pretty quick.
Well, again, it's all depending on the Department of Interior.
I think they're going to move pretty quick.
The deadline date is September 9th for their approval or non-approval. They may do a non-approval.
I think within a week and a half, I think this is the Department of Interior will move on this.
Well, we'll see what happens.
That's my gut feeling. They're not going to let all this revenue from football betting go away. You know, it's not going to happen. But in about a week and a half, I'm sure this will all be worked out.
Well, let's stay with Rush Street for a little bit.
All right.
They did a deal with Chicago Bears former coach, Mike Ditka, to be their brand ambassador. He's going to be doing some giveaways, promos. He's going to be doing a content show called The Coach's Picks of the Week. And then he's going to do a weekly web video series called Beat the Coach.
Beat the Coach?
The Coach.
Oh,
the Bears.
The Bears. Okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be during the regular season and the playoffs. Moving over to some other deals, let's talk Arizona. Arizona had monster deals going through everywhere here. Different sports books dealing with different locations. We have BetMGM doing a deal not only with the Gila River Casino, but the Arizona Cardinals. So it's the first relationship between BetMGM and any entity in the state of Arizona. I like the fact that they're talking about doing another retail sports book in the Arizona Cardinals Stadium.
That's great. Yeah, why not?
And
look, if you're going to have online sports betting, you're going to bet in the stadium anyway, so you might as well make some money off it. I mean, anyone who goes to a stadium, the other big thing is they keep saying, oh, they're starting to bet in bars in Washington, D.C. They're betting in bars anyway. If you have a cell phone, you're betting in bars. You're betting in restaurants. You're betting everywhere. You're betting on the toilet. Guess what?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're betting everywhere. So you might as well have sports books everywhere, and
But
let the people decide.
I like the fact that BetMGM's taking their time with the retail book. It's going to be 2022 NFL season.
Okay.
They're not going to rush one through.
All right. Well,
which
great.
actually makes sense. WynnBet, as well as BlueBet, Betfred, and MaximBet all made deals in Arizona.
I've never heard of MaximBet.
Well, that used to be sportsbetting.com. That's Carousel Group.
Okay. There used to be a magazine called. It still might be.
There is. That's their
MaximBet.
co-owners. Their co-owners.
Okay.
It's Maxim Mag and Carousel.
All right.
Doing MaximBet. We've got WynnBet doing a deal with Shaquille O'Neal.
Wow.
Which is actually kind of an interesting deal because he actually sold stake in his NBA team to be part of this deal.
Great.
He had to divest himself of ownership of, I want to get the team right before let's see. He had to divest himself of the Sacramento Kings share he owned.
Okay.
Before he can actually do the deal. And he's going to be doing guest appearances on the different shows that WynnBet has a deal with Cumulus, as well as the Blue Wire podcasts. Unibet did a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I saw that, yeah.
They are now the official sportsbook of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to have the Unibet tailgate zone outside the stadium. They're also going to do a Steelers-themed casino game exclusively on the Unibet PA online casino.
Doesn't Unibet do the same thing with the Eagles, too, or
yes.
something similar
yes,
with the
Eagles?
Eagles?
Yes, they do pretty much the same deal.
Philadelphia
also,
Eagles.
they do the same deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, hey, hitting Pennsylvania hard. Good for them.
Let's see. One other big, let's go through another announcement. VSiN has brought on, remember the quarterback, Sean King?
Sure.
He is now going to be the co-host of, I want to get this right, The Nightcap.
Okay.
With Tim Murray.
Okay.
So he's going to be a co-host for...
he was on a couple weeks ago. I listened to VSiN. I think they're on the iHeartMedia network or whatever VSiN is on. And Sean King was on with Tim Murray a couple... he was just a guest at that time, but he was on the show. So he's very good.
Well, one last thing to talk about, because there was so much stuff, and everything will be on the... Turnpike Sports blog, the book report entry there after the show is released. DraftKings acquired Golden Nugget Online Gaming.
Yes.
Any other week, that would have been the top story. It's just amazing. This week was just crazy. Oh, before I forget, Caesar Sportsbook brought on Trey Wingo as the Chief Trends Officer and Brand Ambassador.
Great.
I love Trey Wingo.
Great.
But DraftKings acquired Golden Nugget Online Gaming, all-stock transaction for about $1.5 billion. It's more along the lines of the online casino side of everything, but the deal also gives DraftKings market access in a bunch of different states that they didn't have because of Golden Nugget.
Yep.
It's going to be kind of interesting to watch exactly where they go with this. And also they get the Houston Rockets deal, they get the Landry restaurants, all that stuff, and as well as
they don't get to own.
No,
they
get the commercial agreements with those groups.
Yes.
So that just an incredible amount of property, I guess you can call it, as part of this deal. I wonder if DraftKings is going to do what BetMGM did with Buffalo Wild Wings with the Landry's restaurants.
That would be fun.
Do a DraftKings channel that.
I was in Buffalo Wild Wings. It almost looks like a sports book.
Well,
and that was in a non-sports betting state. I can imagine what a Buffalo Wild Wings looks like in a betting state.
Well, we're going to have to take a look at that when we can. So, but that's about it right now that we can do on the air. There's a whole mess of stuff we couldn't get to. There was a lot of things happening. Head on over to TurnpikeSportsRadio.com and click on the blog button. You'll see the Turnpike Sports book report in print form after this is released.
We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.